Good day, everyone. Hope you're doing well. My name is Samir Maharamov, and now we, as a Matrix Group, will be demonstrating our presentation on management of air pollution. So let me introduce each team member and overview of their subtopic. So firstly, I will introduce the problem and analysis and continue with current situation in the world and Azerbaijan. Secondly, Altun will carry on with traditional methods and introduction of new ones in management of air pollution. Then Lala will talk about advantages and disadvantages of those methods. And lastly, challenges of methods and their implementation will be discussed by Ataç, concluding our presentation. So air pollution management aims at the elimination or reduction to acceptable levels of airborne gases, pollutants, suspended particulate matter, and physical and to a certain extent biological agents whose presence in the atmosphere can cause adverse effects on human health and damage to the materials of economic value to society. The series is also associated with radioactive pollutants as well as the spatial procedures required for their control and disposal also deserve careful attention. Talking about the current situation in the world regarding the management of air pollution, World Health Organization's global air quality guidelines should be mentioned. Those guidelines provide clear evidence of the damage air pollution inflicts on human health at even lower concentrations than previously understood. The guidelines recommend new air quality levels to protect the health of population by reducing levels of key air pollutants, some of which also contribute to climate change. Since WHO's last 2005 global update, there's been a marked increase of evidence that shows how air quality and its pollution affects different aspects of health. Actions to combat air pollution include strengthening member state capacity to monitor air quality and enhance epidemiological surveillance and accelerating public policies to mitigate air pollution. This includes sustainable and affordable public transportation services, reducing reliance on fossil fuels and for energy production, and ensure clean energy alternatives for cooking and heating. Moreover, within the European Union, the AIDS Environment Action Programme aims to offer political guidance for the European Union's environment and climate change policies for the periods from 2021 to 2030, with a view to accelerating the transition to climate change neutral, clean, resource efficient, and restorative economy. The European Union acts at many levels to reduce exposure to air pollution through legislation, cooperation with sectors responsible for air pollution, national and regional authorities, and non-government organizations. Regarding the situation in Azerbaijan and UNEC region, progress has been uneven under integrated air pollution management strategies developed under the Convention on Long-Range Transponder Air Pollution. To encourage ratification of the Convention's key protocols by Azerbaijan, UNEC organized a roundtable in Baku to present and discuss the results of the analysis of the national legislation on air quality management and the recommendation on the steps towards ratification of the Convention's key protocols. Further to the roundtable, UNEC organized a workshop to support Azerbaijan in improving its air pollutant emission inventories in accordance with the Convention's requirements. So actually, that's all from my side, and now Elton will continue.
Now I'm going to talk about traditional and modern methods of control and prevention of air pollution. Traditional methods. First, afforestation method. One of the most effective and efficient way to control and even prevent air pollution is afforestation method. In the regional ecological ecosystem, green plants are an essential and necessary component. Afforestation may not only enhance the environment by adjusting air humidity and urban microclimate, but it can also help to purify the air and reduce noise pollution. Dust moving technology. The dust moving device is often used to filter particle contaminants by separating, capturing, and recycling gas from exhaust gas. The dust moving device may be classified into mechanical dust collectors, filter dust collectors, and electrostatic precipitators based on the basic mechanism of dust moving device separation. Electrostatic precipitator method. The dust extraction device used to remove dust from the dusty gas is called an electrostatic precipitator. The separating force has a direct influence on the particle in the ESP process. And rather than the whole airflow, giving the particle separation process minimal energy consumption, low air resistance, and excellent dust removal efficiency. There are other methods like wet dusting, back dust collector, inertial impact, diffusion effect that commonly used in air pollution control process, and they are all traditional methods. So modern methods. Modern methods. Wet scrubbers method. Water-soluble gas and vapors, as well as particles and aerosols, are removed using wet scrubbers. Diffusion, which is restricted by vapor-liquid equilibrium, scrubs gas. Particulates are scrubbed by mechanical impaction and interception process, which are dependent on the particle size and speed in comparison to target, such as a water droplet or wetted surface. Acid gas air scrubbers. When utilizing caustic water as a reagent, acid gas air scrubbers are most effective. However, more soluble gas can be cleaned efficiently with even only water. To keep acidic fog from escaping the air scrubber, specific mist elimination procedures are sometimes utilized. DAC method. Third one. Another more recent and decent method is carbon capture and storage. Direct air capture. Plants remove CO2 from the atmosphere. Fans transport CO2-laden air through a filter soaked in the potassium hydroxide solution in the air treatment system. Moreover, there are other advanced technological methods like air scrubbers, ammonia air scrubbers, fume scrubbers, emergency air scrubbers, and
Hey everyone, I am Lola Musaiva, and I will talk about advantages and disadvantages of these new methods. While environmental measures entail certain pollution control costs, they are motivated by the increase of improved well-being, reducing damage to human health, and the cleaner environmental to safeguard to sustainability of the ecosystem and their services. Also, monetary evaluations of these aspects are challenging. A host of evaluations studies show that economic benefits of many air pollution control measures sustainably exceed their costs. In such cost benefits studies aboard definitions of welfare is applied and included elements that are not included in formal definitions gross domestic productions, such as changes in public health and the loss of natural capacity. Of course, these types of devices are very important. One of the most important biggest advantages is that cleans the air needed for respiration, which play biggest role in our health. Another big aspect is decreases quality and waste, and early year factories and plants are built, which emit a lot of harmful gases in the air. For these devices, this type of toxic substance of cleaned result mixing with air. Next, another positive aspect is the separation of heat and energy. In this case, the certain substance in the air and converting the heat and energy and used by the devices. On the other hand, monetization of damage to loss of the species, to local economy, loss of the carbon capture capacity, decrease the value of nature due to the loss of species, as well as and increasing the cost of managing to remove excess nitrogen, show the disadvantages of their treatment plant. In addition, damage to materials, iron, plastic, and culture heritage is additional maintenance efforts are both an economic cost and expenditure in the construction sector. Damage to crops and forest production losses generally to higher prices and the additional management efforts, and high health care costs associated with the pollution, cost of medicines, and of the hospitalizations. This cost of also entail incomes and employment in the health care sector. In addition, that and also I want to say that many of these might have many thought much about proper waste disappeal, but there are several compelling these reasons the why waste management is circle. If you don't disappear of your waste, probably it will end up the pollution environmental.
Hello everyone, I'm Ataj and I'm going to talk about implementation of these new methods in our country and challenges we may face during implementation. As in other countries, some measures were taken to minimize air pollution in Azerbaijan, but unfortunately, the environmental pollution prevention and control system is still not fully developed. Currently, there is no high technology for air waste management in our country, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible to equip them in the future. Since the technologies are not available right now in Azerbaijan, I'm gonna show the methods that can be effective in the future. And these methods are made for both particulate pollutants and gaseous pollutants. Unfortunately, Azerbaijan suffers from both these pollutants. And the first one is a direct air capture. This technology first pulls air from atmosphere and then filters it, take carbon dioxide, and return the rest of air. As we know, industrialization, increasing energy demands, and the proliferation of cars result in higher than normal levels of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. According to data, carbon dioxide emissions were 33.9 million tons in 2020. Although its amount has decreased since the 1970s, it's still at a harmful level. This facility, which is most common in the USA, may also have positive effects for Azerbaijan. Second one is wet scrubbers. Wet scrubbers, which is one of the most effective methods, is a convenient way to remove particulates for Azerbaijan. This density of power plants, industries, and automobiles in the country causes the increase of particles. By installing wet air scrubbers in the power plants and factories, we can wash particles from the airstream. These methods don't completely eliminate waste, but at least it would have a great effect in a good way. Of course, it's inevitable to face some difficulties while applying these methods. You know that Azerbaijan is a developing country that derives most of income from oil and natural gas sales. As my friend Lola said, equipment is very expensive. Considering the Azerbaijani income, we may have difficulties in applying these methods, and it may take some time to come to the conclusion. In addition, since Azerbaijan's income depends from oil, a lot of oil will be produced, and that's why a lot of equipment will be needed to reduce emissions. As a result, we can minimize the gases and particles produced by them without destroying the sources that cause air pollution. Considering the possibility of experiencing the financial difficulties, the implementation process of these methods, not only in Azerbaijan, but also in other countries, all other countries, will take time, and sometimes there will be disruption. However, again, I would like to say again that it's not impossible to apply these methods in the future. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.